Hey, so we're missing Jill this weekend. I think she's on a retreat or something. Something's going on. Hey, Rudy. Okay, so we are getting very close to the end. This is this is move 22, I think. So only two more moves. This is a fun move. I always like this move because it's really action packed. And I should say, at the end of the form, it's okay to put a little pizzazz into it. You know, when you make a presentation, like a piece of music or a Tai Chi form, you wanna have a good ending. You wanna have a little pizzazz in that final ending, right? So watch. So even though most of the form has been very gentle, you can put a little pizzazz here in the end. I started that in the wrong direction, so I had to make a funny little correction halfway through there, but that's okay. All right, so elbow to heart is a very simple, very short move. So we can learn this one today. We can work on the next move is a little more complex. Um, Next move is a little more complex, but we can at least start on it tomorrow. And we can probably finish the whole form up next weekend. No? No, Catherine? Oh, I think so. We're going to finish it next weekend. Now, if you remember, I said at the beginning, and it says on the website, that to learn the form takes 6 months. So that's, I forget how much that is, 25. That's like 48 sessions. All right, so you need about 2 sessions for each move, and you think, well, gee, that's a lot of time, isn't it? But it takes a lot of takes a lot of time, doesn't it, Catherine? It takes a lot of time. But I also said when you get done with that, you should just start it over, and you should do that 3 or 4 times before you move on to the intermediate, because it takes a long time for this stuff to sink in. Now, Catherine, going through this 3 or 4 times is plenty. It doesn't mean that you're going to be perfect, nothing close to it. What it means is you're going to have the outer choreography pretty well under control. Pretty well under control. So you can remember it, you can go all the way through it. You're more or less moving in the right direction with all the moves, etc. Then you move on to intermediate. You do the same thing in intermediate. After 4 times through, you go on to advanced. Right? Um, it takes, you got to go through this form 12, 15 times
What
before
do
you
you call
really have it.
intermediate? It's just another depth of the same move,
Now,
the same
say again?
form. Another depth, but the same form.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So getting it in depth takes practice. Yes, you got to have knowledge and you got to have et cetera, et cetera, technical knowledge, but you just gotta practice it to make this work. Um, so let's go ahead and do this move. It's the shortest move in the form. I think it may be the shortest move in almost any form, right? Let me. No. Kevin's got a shirt. Oh, right. You're right, Kevin. There.
Lazily tying coat.
Yeah, lazily tying coat. It's like boom, one move. That's it with one arm. Yes. All right. You got me now. He's talking about a move that's actually quite long, but moves tend to get massaged a little bit to fit into other forms, and it's shortened down to like 1 second long. But anyway, this one's pretty short. All right. Punch the ground. All right. Punch the ground. Punch the ground. A way to think about punch the ground, because you ought to feel this. You should feel this in your body, guys, like this. Only it's inside. Punch the ground. What's this? This arm is protecting you. All right? Protect you. Punch the ground. And like I said, punch the ground means punch anywhere from the bladder to the top of the hip to the right above the knee pan to the top of the foot. It's actually the top of the foot. That's why it's punch the ground. All right? But you got to be younger to do that. All right? Punch the ground. And you can see what you're doing is you're sinking in the red quad. You're sinking in both quads, but particularly in the red quad. Okay, that takes care of that guy here. But what about that guy over there, his evil twin brother? All right? Comes running at you. So this move is an attack move, right? Boom, boom. That's true. But it's also a wind up or defensive move for the next move. So it's offensive, but it's also defensive. When you go to hit a ball in baseball, right? When you go to hit a ball, you do not hit like this. The way you hit is to wind up, right? And then hit. That's exactly true with this too. The hit is a backhand, right? So by backhand, I mean you're going to come and hit the guy right in the nose with the back of your hand. All right, if you're going to hit this way, you have to wind up this way. So it's, watch, punch the ground, and then wind up and hit. When you hit, watch this foot. Because now you're going to work in this dimension, not in this dimension. So you need to bring that foot around. All right? How do you bring that foot around? You just lift your toes and use your waist. Remember what we talked about last week, that most of the time when you're pivoting, you pivot on your heel, sometimes on the ball of the foot, but mostly on the heel, and this is another heel thing, and you don't use your hip. You don't pivot your hip. You pivot your waist. So the hip, it's not locked, but it's in place. All right? And then when you're done, you're just standing in a new dimension. Instead of this way, now you're standing this way here. All right? And what you're doing is you're coming over, it's a big circle, so the Danshin is turning this way. It's exactly like you're doing this. Only you're just using your hand. Okay, so let's put those together. Punch the ground, hit. Punch the ground, hit. Punch the ground, hit. Catherine, turn toward me. Punch the ground toward your left. Now hit. Yeah. So you can do it that direction so you can still watch the screen there. All right. Punch the ground, hit. That's the first half. The second half is to throw the elbow. And it's actually a repetition of the first half, but instead of using the hand to hit, you're going to use the elbow to hit. Elbow strikes are very strong for two reasons. One is your elbow is very bony. All right. The second reason is the elbow is in closer to the center line of the body, so it has better leverage. And a good elbow strike, have somebody do this to you. Put your hand up behind your head like this and have somebody just give you a little tiny touch. Not hard. Not hard because they'll break your ribs, right? Just have them go pop like that and see what it feels like. All right. So the second part of this, let me do the first part again. The second part is wind up, hit. Let's break down the parts of this. The right hand is doing something really important. For one thing, it provides a counterweight on this side. For another thing, it's a defensive move. So some guy's coming in. You've just backhanded this one guy. Maybe somebody's trying to backhand you. So their arm, their momentum, their chi is coming in this direction. If you can intercept that, you can redirect it. It's relatively easy to redirect energy. You don't have to, if the energy is coming in this direction, you don't have to redirect it 90 degrees. You just have to redirect it enough that it misses your nose. So it's just a few degrees. So this comes in, you grab it, redirect it, and then come back underneath the guy's arm into his ribs. Because remember, he's opened all his ribs up to hit you. You grab and pull here, and then your elbow comes in here. This is a good one, Catherine. You'll like this in your next bar fight. Yeah, keep going. Yes, that's the basic idea. Now, a couple of things to make this work. One is, when you throw an elbow, if your hand is out like this, you're not going to get enough energy in it because you've given up a lot of your, right? Instead, you want to actually touch yourself, right? Now, that's harder for women than men, but just touch yourself high, right? You can do right above the, right underneath the collarbones, right? Or you can come right across the solar plexus, all right? So high, low, right? Either one will work. You just have to skip the middle one, right? All right, so just don't keep your hand hanging out here. Keep that, when you keep your hand in, it makes your elbow come up and out. And that's what you want. So you're not trying to do anything with the hand. Right? What you're trying to do is with the elbow. So when you pull your hand in like this, do this, and you should be able to feel this. All right? Have your hand out. Now, feel down here, especially in your lower back. Pull your hand in. You should now feel there's a real connection between your lower back and your elbow. All right? It's this that actually does it. And then remember my favorite little towel guy here, right? There's a little bit of the snap of a whip. Boom. That's your elbow. Boom. Boom. Yeah. Boom. Boom. Now, when people first start Tai Chi, of course, none of you are just starting, so you already know this, but I'll just emphasize this. They think the trick is in the elbow. Oh, I'm hitting with my elbow. Well, not really. The real trick is down here. You shift your weight, you turn your waist, right? And then you pop it. Pop it. It just shows up in the elbow. You have to turn your dantian when you do this. And shift your weight, turn your dantian. That creates a wave in the body. Can you feel the wave? All right. Your arm is a surfer on the wave. It's like a guy surfing in the ocean. All right? Then you snap this. Guys, watch this little, I'm going to come up right close to the camera so you don't even see my face. Watch this little square. Did you see that little bounce? That's the snap. How can I say? I'm not making it happen. I'm just snapping it. And that vibration ends up coming out your elbow. So remember the old saying, your power begins in your feet. It's commanded by your waist. That is, your waist can turn and choose the direction. It's expressed in your hands or your elbows. So it's created by your feet and your legs. It's directed by your waist. It's expressed in your elbow. 1, 2, 3. Then it's just a matter of practicing the different parts. I tell you what, get yourself a towel. I'm serious. Get yourself a towel and wet one end and start flicking this at your husband or your girlfriend, all right? And see if you can get them good. There. Finally. I had to flick my girlfriend 4 or 5 times there before I really got a good one. It's exactly the same.
Used to draw blood in junior high doing that.
Yes, so did we. All right. Pop. So, Catherine, just practice it until you get it. All right, now, after you look, so Rudy's got it. If he actually can connect there, you should hear a really sharp pop, right? It's the same thing, only it's with your elbow. Pop, pop, pop. And let me guarantee you, if you got into trouble and you were in a fight, right? Some guy tries to hit you, just duck under, pop, and pop him in the ribs. That'll probably be the end of the fight, if you know how to do it. All right, now, yeah, Rudy.
Sorry. Does the whip happen at the Dan chin or at the elbow? Meaning, does the Dan chin go whack, stop, and the elbow just kind of rides that whack? Or is it just like the energy kind of comes out and back down? You know what I'm saying?
Um, I'm trying to think of how to answer this. It's true that there's a chi path. And if you have a path, that means it's going to be one step after another, right? So you can say it's left, and then it's danchin, and then it's chest, and then it goes out to the elbow. So you could say it's 4 steps, or it's 12 steps, or whatever. But when you actually do it, it's just one thing. It's really the doing individual steps is a way to learn. But at a certain point, it actually gets in your way. So Rudy, if you were trying, you can do the towel snap pretty easily. And when you do it, when I'm watching you just do it naturally. Boom, boom, your whole body's doing it. You could, if you were trying to teach somebody how to do that, you could break it down into 7 discrete steps. So you shift your weight to the left, and you wind up, and then you do this, and then you do that, and then you come back, right? Boom. But the truth is, you don't do that now. You just do. It's just one thing. Does that get at your question, or are you?
Yeah. So I guess what it seems like to me, correct me if I'm wrong, the Dan chin is the hand part of this,
Uh huh.
and then this is the elbow
Uh huh.
part, so that when it snaps, the elbow snaps, right? Because my hand is coming out and is jerking really, really quick backwards so that it makes that pop. So that's like the Dan chin, right? So it goes that.
Yeah. If I understand your question correctly, yes, that's what happens. It goes out and back, and it actually does that more than once. Out, back, out, back, out, back. Each one smaller.
and and it's that energy wave that goes to your elbow, like a
Yes,
pat,
exactly.
like
So
the end
again,
of like the end of this.
yes,
Like this would be
yeah.
okay.
So I mean, basically, what you're doing is you're treating the body, the central line of the body, like a bow in bow and arrow. And when you release the arrow, the string's going to go like this. Now, most of the motion goes forward, which is why the arrow goes forward too. And nobody sort of pays any attention to the string anymore. They pay attention to the arrow. But if you were actually to watch the string doesn't just go forward and stop. It goes forward and snaps back. Boom, 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 boom. Watch the Dan chin again. I'm not making that happen. That's happening as a result of other things happening. Right? Wind up, release. And then there's a counter movement. It's a kick. Kevin, what happens when you shoot a gun?
You get recoil equal to the energy that's going forward.
Right. You got a recoil, which is commonly called kicking. Right? It's going to kick backward. Right, Catherine? Catherine, when you shoot your sawed-off shotgun, right? It's going to kick backwards. That's the same as this. There's a reaction backward. Now, when you shoot a gun, you're not aiming to create a reaction. In a sense, you're not creating the reaction. It's what happens in the gun that creates the reaction. So the chemicals ignite and boom, it shoots out in this direction. For every action, there must be an equal and opposite reaction. Why does not the reaction kill the shooter? If the bullet kills somebody, why doesn't the reaction kill somebody? Yes, Kevin.
Well, the bullet weighs very little, but it's going very fast, so it carries a lot of force. Going the other way, the gun, your body, etc., mitigates that force because it's not moving the same amount of weight as fast.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So a bullet that goes out is a tiny projectile with a pointed end. So all that momentum is focused on one tiny little point. Where let's say you had a rifle, right? So you've got this up in your shoulder. You have a big pad. You may even have a shoulder pad, and right, your whole body absorbs that. But it's the same amount of energy. It's just one's very focused and the other is dispersed. Right? So when you throw your elbow, boom, and equal energy goes in the opposite direction. The difference is your body absorbs it. So you can see, pop, that hits, and immediately there's a recoil here. Watch it. I'm not going to try to control it. All right. How does your body absorb that recoil? Watch the whole body. Watch this leg. It's, right? The whole body is absorbing that. Where when you throw your elbow, it's focused on one little point. Boom. Notice my footwork here. So Catherine, when you get this a little bit, when you get the towel flick and then you transfer and you get that with the elbow flick, then you can move on to this step where you really use your weight shift and your stepping is much more dance-like. Watch. So why am I backing up? Well, two reasons. One is the guy's trying to hit me. So if a big hit is coming in, you'd be well advised to step back or to duck or to do something. The second thing is every defensive move in Tai Chi is the warm-up, the coiling up for the next offensive move. They're both the same thing, like on here, right? So I've hit this guy. Oh, now his hit comes in. I'm gonna duck, coil up, boom, and there comes my response. So is defensive, offensive, defensive, offensive. Catherine, you're doing just fine. I'm serious. Nobody gets this the first time. Nobody. Catherine, even I did not get this the first time I did it. All right? It took a long time. However, the coiling up is what makes the release so much fun. Was when you coil things up, bah, and then release, you end up releasing. Yeah, you could say you're releasing a lot of energy. That's true, but you're also releasing a lot of stress. Because when you coil things up, you're stressing the body. Stress, release. The closer you can get your hand into your body, the more effective the snap is going to be. And remember, I said this last time when we were talking about this. We actually do this move twice in the form, but the first time is kind of hidden. Generally, the first time we do it, it's not emphasized at all, and so it's very easy to just miss it. But watch. Right here. Now, generally, we don't pop it, but you could pop it. All right. So you've actually already done this move once before already. All right. All right, let's combine this. Let's do the last move all the way through from the beginning, and this move, and combine them both together, right? So. Punch the ground. No?
I have to work on it. It's not an easy one for me.
Okay, well, no, none of them are easy. If Tai Chi was easy, everybody'd be doing it.
And also,
Catherine, I tell you, I'm very proud of you for sticking. I'm very proud of you for sticking with this form. Most people drop out halfway through. It's true.
I want to get to the end. And I want to redo it until I get it.
Well, you realize after you get this form, then you're going to start having a Jones for the next form and the next form and the sword and the saber. That's the trouble. There's no end to this. It just keeps going.
I want to have this one inside me really deep and well.
This form is the most difficult form you will ever do. By far, seriously. 10 times more difficult. Because when you get this form, like you're saying, Catherine, when you really get this form deeply, you'll understand Tai Chi. And then you can go on to more advanced forms. It's true that sometimes the athleticism is higher. But that's a different issue. All right? you'll understand the basic principles. You'll understand them in your body, not just as something in your head or something that I'm saying, but you'll understand them in your body. And when you've got that, then you've got the language. Then you can actually do Tai Chi. Right? And by the way, Tai Chi has nothing to do with these moves that we're learning. Right? You don't go, okay, I'm going to have a fight, so I should think about doing this move or that move. That's not how it works. It's much more like improvisational jazz. And you don't know what the other guys in the band are going to be doing. You don't know what you're going to feel like doing when your time for a solo comes up. You're in the moment, and you've trained your body so that it's absorbed these basic principles, and then you just react naturally to the principles. It's not a bunch of clever moves. It's just sort of free forming, all right? Okay, one more. I'm gonna start in this direction here. Why don't you just stay still and watch me do this? So, just practice it, and practice whipping that thing until you get it. Just make sure to wet. Right? Make sure to get this wet and wring it out so it really hurts, and then get Amiel to just stand there and just keep popping him.
Thanks a lot. Now,
Okay, I will.
with several layers of clothing on me.
Yes, exactly. Okay, guys, let's pick it up there tomorrow, all right? And we'll go on into the next move tomorrow. Ciao. Rudy, we'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.